Hi there, it's Kevin with Roguedeckbuilder.com, here with part number 2 of Whip of Erebos Brewing. This is a reanimator strategy. Again, I don't know how good this deck will be. We'll have to wait and see exactly what standard throws at us. Of course, we have cards like Scavenging Ooze we'd have to worry about if Scavenging Ooze does see as much play as it sees now, and cards like Rest in Peace. But the good news is we are in green and black that has so much removal through Doom Blades or Abrupt Decays for Scavenging Ooze, and then also has the Charm, the Golgari Charm, that can also destroy an enchantment. And also, you know, protects you against any sort of token strategy or weenie strategy. So I'm really liking the concept of this deck. It'll definitely need some fine-tuning to do. But without further ado, let's actually go to the deck list that I've actually created, and then we'll talk about other cards that we can probably put in here. So right now I have placeholding the Endless Ranks of the Dead, or placeholding the Whips, as they cost the exact same. So this is, of course, not in the deck. Now, the cards that I've identified that have the most synergy with the Whip are definitely the new Angel of Despair type creature. It's called Riders of something. We'll look at it. I'll look at it again. I talked about it in my video before. And Lord of the Void, because Lord of the Void deals combat damage, exiles the top. So it's all these things that get the haste ability advantage. I guess this is just the reanimation ability. It doesn't really get the haste ability, but this definitely gets the haste ability. Dealing damage, you get some use out of its being able to swing in, deal 7 damage, exile the top 7 cards, then put a creature among them onto the battlefield. I think that's going to be very powerful. Rise of the Grave is actually the new... again, we'll have to look at it. It's you have to sacrifice a creature, and then you can go get a creature from a graveyard and put it into play, and then put the sacrifice creature back into play as well. So we have our weenies for it. Overgrown Battlement is a new Defender Hexproof 0/3 wall that can add any color of mana to your mana pool. And right now, Elvish Mystic's the best I can think of as a ramper. I don't even know if we actually need it, if we can just completely skip our 1-drop. And who knows? I've also thought about it using the Scry, the new Sign of Blood Scry card. But, I mean, we've pretty much ran out of room here between the ability to put a lot of stuff into our graveyard between Grisly Salvages. Mulch is Commune with the Gods. It's placeholding for Commune with the Gods. And Deadbridge Chant. So what's cool about the Commune with the Gods, you can actually grab your Deadbridge Chant and throw everything else in the graveyard. The problem with this deck is surviving the aggro decks. So therefore I have Tristani, Centaur Healers, and Obsidots as definite answers to the aggro decks. And there probably will be some other life gain cards that are decent that we could put in this deck. We have definitely the access to the colors we need. And anyway, so the mana base is pretty self-explanatory. These are actually the new Scry lands, the black-white Scry lands. And so I decided to just go all forest, because we have to hit forest to hit these Mystics, Overgrown Battlements, and whatnot. So, I mean, I wish we had some sort of Birds of Paradise or fixer besides Elvish Mystic. Arbor Elf would have been great in this slot instead of Mystic. Sad to see him go. But I think that the Grisly Salvage will allow us to find the land we need. So we do need double white and double black in a lot of instances, but not too much white. So maybe I could go down in the white count here. And instead of the Orzhov Guildgates, instead of the Scrylands here, just go the Golgari Guildgates instead. Or maybe I don't even want Guildgates, the tap lands whatsoever, and just put in some more non-basic lands, and maybe even we could play any sort of... No, I think that we're basically... What's the card I returned Ravnica where you could search your library for 2 lands and put it into your hand? We could definitely go that card instead. So... Again, pretty solid deck though, as you will be able to reanimate very quickly with the Elvish Mystics and the new defenders that add mana that ramp up to that. So it's, you know, first turn, second turn, third turn, you could easily do the Rise of the Grave. You could actually in between those turns you could Grisly Salvage, find what you need, Rise from the Grave, or Deadbridge Chant, and whatnot, and you're good to go. So anyway, a few other cards I'm looking at. So sideboard, of course, you need more Abrupt Decays, all 4 of them, total, 2 mainboard, 2 sideboard, for the Scavenging Oozes and the Rest in Peace. Golgari Charm, again, doubles against Rest in Peace, and destroys lots of enchantments. It's a great card, it's going to be amazing. This could easily be 4 of. And then I've explained the aggro. And then Sin Collector, I think, is a pretty good card. I was thinking of, instead of Sin Collector, the Obsidot dude. Let's see here. It's like called Mob Obsidot, I think. Oh no, that's the sack of creature. It's like 5 mana. Viscopa something. We'll find it here. Viscopa Confessor. as you can actually get any card if you just, you'd have to actually pay any midnight to reveal that many cards. That was a problem. So maybe Viscopa's not a good card. But I think this deck will be fun. I'll definitely try it. Reanimator is back. I think there's definitely enough targets. The whip definitely puts us over the top. As something, if we stabilize, we can recur creatures every turn and bring them back and get value out of them. So we'll see. We might actually need better value creatures than that, and something that actually returns stuff. Who knows? We'll wait and see. There definitely, if you can think of a card that I have not thought of that could go in here, let me know. So I'm thinking of Sylvan Primordial. So these are the maybe cards. Sylvan Primordial, pretty good. You can destroy a non-creature permanent that player controls. And so you can destroy an enchantment, you can destroy an artifact, you can destroy a land, you can destroy a planeswalker, and then ramp yourself. Go get a library for forest cards. So you go get a Temple Garden or Overgrown Tomb, and you are good to go that way. Then Armada Worm, of course, definitely a good reanimation target, even with Lord of the Void, because not Lord of the Void, with the whip, because you at least get something out of it. You still get a 5-3 green worm token that's going to stick on the battlefield. We have Angel of Serenity, of course. They can actually then, what's cool with the whip is you bring back the Angel of Serenity and target your own stuff in your own graveyard, own creatures that you might want to recast, like Centaur Healers or whatnot, and then you have to kill it, and then you return those to your hand. Unfortunately, it's not the greatest versus your opponent because then it will die, but you can still always just reanimate it through the Rise of the Grave, the new Rise of the Grave type card, and still get some value. So the only problem with this is you mill. A lot of times you're going to be milling these. You're not going to be milling the Dead Bridge Enchant or the Whip that much because of the Commune with the Gods, but the instances you could remove, and you could go like a Treasure Hunt or whatever the card is that can return a card back from your graveyard to your hand. Another one that is I'm really thinking about is Treasury Throw. With the Whip is awesome. So you cast it with the Whip, it attacks, you get to return an artifact, creature, enchantment from your graveyard to your hand. Again, you get to get back something for nothing, basically. So really like this. Another one that's actually good again with the haste ability is the Giant Anaphage. So you reanimate the Giant Anaphage, you attack for 7, and then you get to copy it when it deals combat damage. So you get to copy it before it dies, and so you still get a 7/7 out of it. And then it's a copy of Giant Anaphage. So those begin to copy and copy and copy and copy and copy, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So you have a recurring 7/7 that they'll hopefully get in, be a win condition. The other one I thought of that just has a lot of value is just Shrostani Summoner. You get a 2/2, a 3/3, and a 4/4 that stick around, and the 1/1 just dies. So not bad. It's 9 power on board that sticks around. And then Teysa, Envoy of Ghosts, not the greatest with the whip, but it's pretty good with Dead Bridge Enchant and the reanimation, the traditional reanimation. Then I don't know how well it's going to be. So those are cards that I've definitely thought of. If you know any cards that are good to put in this deck, let me know. Of course, some of the other cards I am looking at is one of my favorite cards, of course, Spoiled, which is the Gray Merchant of Asphodel. Isn't that what it's called? Where to go? Gray Merchant of Asphodel. Right here, which when it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life to Devotion to Black. There are plenty of cards in this deck that if you have out, like a Whip, if you have out, that's doing 4 damage and 4 life. If you've got, that's basically it, though. You'd have to have a Lord of the Void. So I think it doesn't really fit in this deck, as the Whip's really the only thing that's going to be working. You could put some Underworld Connections for card draw or something, but I mean, we're definitely really packed here on what we want in our deck. So Erebos, of course, you can put in. I'm liking this Aberrant Overlord. Again, it's a 7 mana, but again, Trostani Summoner just seems a lot better than me than 2 1/1 Black Harpies. If you have a Whip out, that's 4. So you could have 4 1/1 flying creature tokens, or guaranteed a 4/4 Rhino, a 3/3 Centaur, and a 2/2 Knight. So I think a 2/2 Knight, 3/3 Centaur, and a 4/4 Worm is a little bit better than 4 1/1 flying creatures. But again, it is definitely something that's worth mentioning as a target you could put in the deck. So that's basically the cards that we have to work with right now. The Rescue of the Underworld is what the card's called. It's the Rise from the Grave. So I think it's very easy with this deck because you'll have the Elvish Mystics or the Defender, the Hexproof Defender, which is going to be Hexproof. It's going to be hard for them to kill. So definitely it's going to be a great target for the Rescue from the Underworld. And you have access to Thoughtseize in this deck, of course, and a lot of other cool green cards. So let's go down to green real quick. None of these I don't think are worth reanimating here. They definitely don't do. I'm thinking of putting them into one of Bow of Nylea, as you can put up to 4 cards from your graveyard on the bottom of your library if you need them back in your deck for whatever reason. And it deals 2 damage to target creature with flying. That ability is not bad. A 1/1 counter is not bad. Or you gain 3 life. That's not bad either. Of course, you could go Sage, Gyre Sage instead of the Elvish Mystic, maybe, and then Bow of Nylea can actually start putting counters on it and actually ramp into something big. But that's kind of probably not the greatest strategy ever. So the card I'm talking about is Sylvan Caratid. Sylvan Caratid's the hexproof defender at 1 mana of any color, which will definitely be a great card in this deck. Then the Ashen Rider, there you go. There's the picture of the Ashen Rider. That's going to be the new Angel of Despair. A little more expensive, but we don't care. We're reanimating into it. And like I said, I don't think anything else is worth reanimating at this time. I like Steam Augury, and then you have access to breaking and entering. But then you're into awkward colors. You'd need to go like a 4-color or even a 5-color. But this card's really cool because it is the new Factor Fiction. And you get a lot of stuff in the graveyard and into your library. So you could go reanimation strategy, but I definitely wouldn't go Commune the Gods or Grizzly Salvage. It'd be Steam Augury with breaking and entering, and you definitely have a few other cards that actually still do put stuff into your graveyard. Like there's a card out of Return to Ravnica, the 5 mana, draw 4 cards, and then draw 4 cards, put 2 in your graveyard? Thought something. Anyway, so you could definitely go a reanimation strategy with breaking and entering and the Rise from the Grave, the Return from Underworld strategy. But again, it's kind of really awkward. So yeah, that's what I'm basically working on right now. A pretty cool reanimation strategy. Here's the access to temples we have. So we have Temples of Silence that we can actually use in this deck as well. Which I don't know how powerful these will be. The Scry 1 kind of seems, they should have made it Scry 2. Really very underpowered, I think, for has to comes into play tapped. They probably will see play just because they're the only fixing we have. And they definitely are a bit more powerful from the guild gates. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. We'll take a look one more time at the deck. Nothing too special here. Nothing. We could definitely go lower. I think 24 land count might be a little bit too much, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, this has been Kevin with Roguedeckbuilder.com. Thanks for watching.